We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, stay with this channel. Turn on alerts in Discord and check out the messages so you know when we're going live and if the content works for you. Check out the feedback form in the description down below. All right. Let's check out what we got going on here today. Let's welcome everybody in the house. We have Alexandra, Double Ace, Miguel, Gray Chief. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Leo, hi. LA13, looking for that true F pop. Today's Arkham's turn. You can see this market going one at a time. Horace, Mr. Relentless, good morning. Good morning. All right, let's begin by just generally discussing what's happening. The Fed has cut 50 basis points, which the market is now figuring out is a license to speculate, period. Altcoins have been shorted, dumped, left for dead. Everyone's out, and now everyone has to come back in. It's as easy as that. Coinbase altcoins are leading the way, just like this time last year. Okay. Arrow is going to be a huge leader. I think True Finance could be behind that. I think if there's a Coinbase meme that comes back, it's DGen because it's connected to social media. And it's just been absolutely destroyed. A lot of these altcoins are like, minimum. Even the altcoins that probably aren't great long term, they're 40% away from resistance. Most altcoins have got to rally between 40 and 60% to get to resistance. And again, like last year, you have, the hot layer ones popping off. You have SUI, SEI, Aptos will probably come later. It's the same as last year. I think maybe the only difference between this year and last year is that ETH is so destroyed. The macro catalysts for ETH are so good that ETH could be an epic leader and possibly outperform Solana for maybe 2 weeks or maybe 10 days, maybe, before Solana just goes. But the catch-up rally in ETH is going to be epic. That and all of these sectors, right? Like people continue to ignore DeFi. DeFi continues to break out. DeFi was up when everything else was down on Saturday, right? So DeFi, AI, all of these different sectors, anything that has to do with trading, right? Arrow, Velo, Woo, all of these plays just could be like 10 days of a relentless bid. Okay, Huber's Ranch, Lee, welcome. Happy Monday. Let's get it. Okay, let's get into the news. Naturally, you can feel the media like turning itself around here. As reminders of macro catalysts, government shutdown is or is not coming up on October 1. They're not going to get the voting integrity bill that they want or that some parties want. But at the end of the day, you're not voting your way out of this, okay? It's a massive government spending problem, as Elon is noting. The only way out of a debt problem is to devalue the currency. The currency, as in the dollar, is currently being devalued against gold. In other words, gold is considered part of the foreign exchange market. So if you can't sell the dollar versus the euro or the yen because no one wants those currencies, then the logical place to devalue the dollar is versus gold and Bitcoin and Ethereum and the whole rest of the crypto market, right? So if they can't devalue the dollar in the legacy currency market, they're going to devalue the dollar in the commodity currency market and the digital currency market. And that is the market update. No kidding. It could be. Okay, so here is the Speaker of the House passing a funding bill without, you know, election integrity stuff. Uh, again, social disorder, social division, and negativity. I'm starting to move away from like the political negativity because capital markets are assuming an election outcome. And even without that election outcome, there's going to be a whole new way of doing things, right? In other words, we're not going to look at anything negative. We're going to look at what's positive, and that's going to be crypto, right? Youth unemployment is rising. It's now 9.7%. This is like 25% in China. Again, this speaks to the fact that they have to cut and cut and cut and probably put high-powered money in the system because they can't cut fast enough, which is another reason why altcoins can just continue to pop off like this because they just can't. You can't have youth unemployment at 10% and not expect social disorder. And the Fed can just solve that problem by putting high-powered money in the system. All right, China has to print. We're seeing a steady theme of the possibility of coordinated rate cuts across the board. In other words, everybody was hiking rates, worried about inflation, right? China's economy fell out of bed. China's economy is 20% of global output. So you can't have China in a recession and then not have a slowdown across the board. So right now, the theme is everyone's got to cut. Eurozone teetering, right? Fueling faster rate cut bets. Again, coordinated rate cuts. You could have technical definitions of recessions in Europe or the United States. I'm sorry, in Europe or China. In the United States, if the stock market doesn't go down, you won't have a technical definition of a recession. But again, there's a certain segment of the population that is completely destroyed. Completely. He's held rates high and crushed certain groups of people, and they're going to have to unwind that during an election year. Okay, so just in case you think, every economic downturn, every problem that's ever been created in the world of economics has been created by governments. Either money is too easy, money is too tight, they borrow too much, they raise taxes, whatever. Okay. So the French want to tax the wealthy. I saw a statistic over the weekend that said they could confiscate all the money from every United States billionaire and only fund the government for a year. We have a government spending problem. And when government spending stops, okay, or if government spending has to be dramatically reduced, that's going to reduce economic output. That's going to kill inflation. Could create a recession, but it doesn't matter, right? Everybody is like, oh, look at the economic statistics. People, rates are too high. Rates are too high, and Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies are about to explode. The details are all over the legacy media. All right, so Harris talking about AI and crypto. She's still got 40, 50 days to put her money where her mouth is. I think the next interesting thing in terms of politics is going to be whether or not somebody tries to save TikTok, right? Because that hasn't been discussed. So someone's going to try to jump in and save TikTok. Does that matter for crypto? Because I think if they're talking about saving TikTok, they're definitely going to have to get serious about crypto. Trump is already serious. She could get serious too. It's fine. It's, what I'm saying? It's like they're all coming our way, and it doesn't matter who you like. It doesn't. It's all coming our way. All right. So, Harris says something positive about crypto. Good. Excellent. BlackRock ETF options sets the stage for GameStop-like gamma squeeze rally. All right. So I would like to Welcome, everybody, to the terms and jargon of the legacy options market, because there is going to be legacy options. That's a way to do leverage on the Bitcoin ETF. Now, what starts to happen is as demand for, let's call it upside, starts pouring in through this derivatives market, this can push the ETF higher. It can also push Bitcoin higher because, as I've said over and over and over again, they do not have enough Bitcoin to cover what is going to come in and is already in the Bitcoin ETF. They just don't. They just don't. And that's why Bitcoin held up as the rest of the market collapsed, right? The U.S. government and sovereigns sold Bitcoin, and BlackRock and Michael Saylor hoovered it all up. And it's a question of time before they have to start market buying this stuff. Now, when they start market buying it, that can create a lot of demand in the options market. And when you hear something called a gamma squeeze, what that means is, as with GameStop, the higher it goes, the more demand that there is. In other words, legacy players won't need to sell as it rises. They'll be in panic buying mode. So that's why the reporter likened it to GameStop. The bottom line is, when they put derivatives on the Bitcoin ETF, it does a lot of things. They're not all positive all the time. But when you have an up market and it's kind of up only, it can be an accelerant, which is very, very exciting, right? So ETH outperforms Bitcoin, right? ETH outperforms Bitcoin. This is only the beginning. We'll go over the chart. I have absolutely no idea why everybody thought Ethereum was dead. We're not doing Web3, really. Really, we're not doing anything with Web3. We're not doing DeFi, AI. ETH isn't money. Let's forget about functionality of ETH. It's like, oh, the fees are too high. The fees are too high for ETH to be money when you're talking about an across-the-board fiat currency devaluation? Really? Everybody has forgotten about ETH as a macro instrument, and everybody compares ETH to Solana. And now everybody's comparing Solana to SUI. You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid. This 6-month correction has warped everyone's brain. Everyone thinks the last 6 months is real. It's not. It's going to get unwound in a matter of weeks. It could get unwound in a matter of weeks. And if you get the right catalyst, they could unwind, half of what happened to Ethereum on a downside in a matter of days. That's how suppressed it is, in my opinion. And you know what? Don't believe me, folks. Look at the screen. Look at Arrow. Look at Arkham. Look at all this stuff on Coinbase. Stuff's going up in 10% increments. What, you don't think that eventually makes its way to the big coins? It most certainly does. Okay, here's XRP's price prediction if Bitcoin hits $13 million. You know what, folks? As I've said, it's a lot of talk about Bitcoin at $13 million. There's almost no talk of Bitcoin at 80 or 100 or 125. There's no talk about that. There's also no talk about what the world looks like when Bitcoin is at those prices. You could have wealth taxes. You could have wealth confiscation. I don't know. You could have a massively lower dollar. No one's talking about these things. I mean, they're going to be talking about these things. And when they are, you're going to be positioned because, you're here and you're watching this show and we're going to kick ass and take names. People frequently talk about or worry about everything except what you should be talking about or what you should be worrying about. What you should be worrying about in crypto right now is that you're possibly underinvested. That would be the big worry. And that is the worry of crypto hedge funds, period. You can tell by this price action. You can't have all coins moving in 10 to 15% increments without getting the attention of crypto hedge funds. So they're going to start going after everything. In other words, they're going to see Arrow and be like, oh, I missed that. Let's go to, whatever coin, right? That's just how it's going to be. And that's the way it was at this time last year, right? You had a bottom in September. You had one final dip. That was Saturday, most likely. And then this thing was just off to the races, right? Core Scientific, right? AI hosting. Wow. You mean they're initiating a buy on a Bitcoin miner? I thought all the Bitcoin miners were going to zero. Wait. You mean the Bitcoin miners are using the spare power, the heat from the power that they generate to power AI data centers? What? Bitcoin miners are in the energy business? What? You know what they've done to these crypto equities? They've destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed. Well, maybe we'll do that in live TA. Crazy, right? Absolutely bananas. SUI taking off. Everybody talking about buying SUI and dumping Solana. I don't know about that, but I don't think SUI is going to stop. I think SEI is next. SUI could be the Solana of this round. I don't think it's going to stop, right? And if they get memes going on SUI, it's just going to keep going. It's just going to keep going, right? I mean, did it pay to sell the first rally in Solana last year? Last time? Yeah, last year? No, of course not. Of course not, right? I mean, if anything, people are sitting around going, oh my God, I can't buy it. Short sellers are probably trying to fade it. They were trying to fade Bitcoin at 60. They're going to do the same thing at 63, and they're all going to get stopped out at 72 as far as I am concerned, right? Bitcoin core developer to unite Bitcoin and Ethereum with cross-chain tunnels. Wait, what? Cross-chain is the theme? You mean like Rune? Like people are going to want to trade on multiple different platforms? Cross-chain DeFi like PNG? What? What's cross-chain? Oh, gee, that was the thing from last year. Yeah, bro, that was the thing from last year. Hello. We're back. Coinbase CBDC, coming to Solana. Okay, so there's good news and bad news about Coinbase's new wrapped Bitcoin. The bad news is I think Coinbase is just kind of printing this for Bitcoin ETF guys. It may become like an IOU because they just don't have the Bitcoin that they need. They just don't, right? Coinbase may be out there slowly buying the Bitcoin and issuing this CBBTC to ETF players, right? I mean, they're eventually going to have to buy all the Bitcoin, but this will be a way to get Bitcoin on multiple other chains, right? But that's that simple, right? Coinbase is going to become the new host for wrapped tokens because they'll be able to deliver Bitcoin in multiple places. But, you know, this is BS in some ways because, like I said, I'm sure Coinbase is printing this, giving it to BlackRock. BlackRock can say they own Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Coinbase behind the scenes is just slowly buying all the Bitcoin that they need, and they'll go to the market if they have to. That's it. That's just it, right? Let's see. What do we got here? Secret meetings with El Salvador's president buried by an ad. Okay, El Salvador's president is no doubtedly telling Elon Musk and everybody else, you better hurry up and get involved in Bitcoin. And I wouldn't doubt at this point that the big social media companies are all going to start having to make announcements. In other words, it can't just be MicroStrategy anymore. It can't, right? You know, I'm half expecting some of the big Silicon Valley companies to announce that they want to get into Solana as a payment mechanism because, oh, by the way, Solana is money. Solana is money. All right, so RSI hints at classic BTC breakout. The media is finding all kinds of cool stories, right? Here's the 1 hour BTC chart. Please give me a chart that's bullish because it's going up. Currently, there's a key bid around 62K, a bit lower around 59. There's deep liquidity down there. Yeah, bro, no duh, right? Oh, it's going to go to 62. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe. It might go to 72 first, right? I mean, this is a major squeeze. Remember, September was supposed to be a down month. Historically, it is. I went in a different direction. I said mirror of last year, you know, Labor Day puke, 9/11 dip. You know, 9/11 was the point of despair last year. You know, it did make a new low this year, but that was the debate panic. And then this thing just went whoop. You know, you may get a dip except from much higher levels. You may test or stop people out and then dip, right? There may be an October surprise that might not be capital markets friendly, but everybody's worried about that. You worry about that later. Everybody's worried about what's going on in the Middle East. You worry about that later, if at all, right? In other words, one side's attacking the other and the other side is not responding. They're not responding. Everyone's like, oh, well, we're going to respond any minute now. Okay. I mean, some of that stuff is terrible. You look at it, you're like, wow, that's awful. The market climbs the wall of worry. Until they give you something to actually worry about, let the market climb the wall of worry. Period. Bitcoin poised for potential rally as FTX payout looms. Okay, so again, there's a huge macro case for Bitcoin. If FTX users are going to get their money back, they might sell. Then again, we've had like Mt. Gox's going to sell, Sovereign's going to sell, Satoshi Nakamoto's going to sell. Everybody's going to sell. Yeah, okay, to BlackRock. To BlackRock, and then maybe eventually the U.S. Treasury, MicroStrategy, and everybody who wants to copy their strategy. I mean, there was a 6-month correction, and the current Bitcoin players were able to prevent Bitcoin from essentially going anywhere on a net basis. It went absolutely nowhere. Right? Where's Willy Woo? I forgot about this. Here's Willy Woo. The best time to buy Bitcoin is at the bottom. Okay, so this is the BTC Pule multiple. Okay, so Bitcoin guys have always got cool Bitcoin charts. Willie's got a bunch of them, right? Bottom line is, at this time in the cycle, you want to own Bitcoin. That's the bottom line. And there's a huge macro case for Bitcoin, which there kind of hasn't been in the past. And Michael Saylor reminds you that there's credible rumors that there's one or more major banks in the U.S. that will soon be able to custody Bitcoin. And one thing about Michael Saylor that people are not focusing on is that he's going to get on the tape every single day with these $13 million price targets, with all its stuff about how great Bitcoin is. And it's a question of time before other people realize that they got to get on TV. The guy from Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz, has got to get on TV. They cannot let Michael Saylor be the only guy on TV talking about Bitcoin. This is the whole positive news flow thing. There's negative news flow like, oh my God, the politics, and oh my God, the social disorder, and oh my God, the geopolitical conflict. There's that all day long, but there's a complete void of positive news flow. And what do you think is going to happen when the dollar starts going down or gold breaks 3,000? What do you think is going to happen? You're going to have positive news flow. Note how the media has got itself turned around, right? 2 weeks ago or a week ago, it was like, oh God, Solana's going to 80, ETH is dead and never coming back. Bitcoin's going to go to 48. Now it's like all in the other direction, except it's all going to be on television next time, right? Next time it's going to be on television. Okay, Bitcoin has 321 million inflows after Fed rate reduction into the crypto space. They just literally a week before the Fed, they puked out like 600 million from crypto. It was over. The 4-wave correction did its job. Corrections in bull markets, what do? They get you out, okay, short, and the people who are bullish are bearish by putting on hedges. So the bears are bears, the bulls are bears. Everyone's out, discouraged. It's over. And then you know what? It's happened a million times. Okay. Okay. Large ETF transfer is going to trigger a price crash in Ethereum. Okay. Okay. Good luck with that. All right. ETH is leading because of the dollar and the yen and various positive macro factors. No, ETH is leading because the fact that ETH went down was a joke. It was a joke. Now, I don't know if there were supply and demand reasons why everybody decided to sell ETH, but the fact is they gave up. They gave up. Right? Now, look at this. This is really funny. Diamond Hands Ethereum maker makes $100 million in 2 years. Isn't it funny that they were talking about the guy that had to pull ETH out of his wallet, the wallet woke up after all this time. Sometimes people have to sell, or you know what? They just move the money around to scare everybody, and then they turn around and buy underneath it. That's what I would do. If I had some high profile wallet, I'd be like, such and such moves a wallet. Oh my God, it's going to hit the market. Meanwhile, I'd be buying underneath, somewhere else. Okay. So that is your news for this morning. Let's welcome who else is here. Okay. SG, the OG of this stream in the house. Gary, layer 1 Toncoin. Let's look at it. Okay. Mr. Lim is saying, do you predict we will see few huge more dip? No. In other words, we had a dip. It's called the last 6 months, honestly. And the market is still down. I mean, you're looking at the screen and seeing it up, but if you zoom out, everything is still destroyed. So, there's going to be dips in October because there's going to be election stuff. The stuff in the Middle East is serious. I don't think you're going to see any more of these like Black Monday crashes. And even if you do, they're going to be flash crashes. I mean, you're going to have a half hour to get it if there's a flash event. And flash events can happen, right? That's actually normal bull market stuff. Up, flash crash, everyone gets upset, comes straight back. So, I think you've had the dip, and you don't have to buy Arrow at 40 cents because it's going back above $2. Right now, it's still below $1. That's just an example. All right. So we're going to go to PowerPoint. Okay. All right. PowerPoint. Okay. So I have premium YouTube now. That's a personal thing. That's me. Bitcoin on a daily chart. Bitcoin on a DeMark work is just perched on support near 63K. And you could have a pop any day now, right? This just looks like it wants to just go 7, 8, 9. So, and maybe it takes a couple days, but you could just wake up and this could be at 70 because everybody thinks it's going back down and it's not. Okay. ETH weekly. Okay. Clear 9 bottom. You broke out above, this is resistance here at 2,600. I get it. ETH might pause here. Then again, if it goes through here on a weekly closing basis, forget about it. The next DeMark resistance on a weekly chart is at 3,500. So if ETH takes out 2,700, it could go up $1,000. Boom. ETH on a 4-hour chart. Okay. You have a pause and then you could go higher. ETH versus Bitcoin. Okay. On a daily basis, you had your dip and now it looks like it's taken out resistance. This is where the whole give up trade started from. So they're pushing through resistance in ETH versus Bitcoin, and I would expect that to continue, like with gusto. Like ETH versus Bitcoin is so destroyed, it can only go up, in my opinion. Okay, Avalanche, probably some hesitation about buying it at 27, okay? But again, it's perched on DeMark support, and, you got nothing but blue sky up here. These layer ones, I mean, people are assuming crypto is dead. That's not a good assumption. Okay, Bitcoin on a weekly chart, just as a reminder. Okay, you had a trend. That was earlier in the year. You had an awful correction. The trend is called a 3-wave. The awful correction is called a 4-wave. And the big emotional high is called a 5-wave. Big trends have 5 waves, right? 3 is steady up. 4 is choppy and awful. 5 is emotional. This shows minimum 77K, minimum. Okay, they stopped short of this level before, and the point is, everybody is afraid. Everybody is like, when do I sell? Everybody is like, when dip? People, look, this was like dip, 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 dip. They gave you 4 dips. And of course, it was horrible and no one wanted to buy it. And it looked terrible. Of course it did. Like, I'm not like, well, you should have bought the dip. It looked terrible. I mean, the people who won in this range were people who were like dollar cost averaging hodlers. If you tried to trade the market or time the market for long-term holds, you probably got smoked. And everyone in general, and this includes me, would probably buy high and sell low, all in the same, confined space. Because, the people who make money in here are traders, and then the traders will try to short the market as it goes up, and they're going to get stopped out. Right? Because in this range, you were taught to sell it when it was up and buy it when it was down. And that's not going to work anymore, right? Because it's just going to go up and then sit and go up and then sit. And if you get a dip, it's either an intraday dip, a one-day dip, or a flash crash, right? And then you got to hurry up and get busy because all coins are telling you that, right? You don't need me to tell you that. Just look at the screen. Everything's down on Saturday and you come in and DGen's up 8%. Okay, Solana versus Ethereum on a 4-hour chart. So Solana could reverse here. That would be epic. That would be based on this chart. Or Solana could just continue to underperform versus Ethereum for a while ETH catches up. And then Solana on a monthly basis hits this huge important DeMark moving average for the second month in a row. And then Solana just goes up only because this is, a 9 signal. You would expect a pause. It's a multi-month pause because it's a monthly chart. And then Solana just resumes. Everyone's like, oh my God. Okay. So just some altcoins to take a look at. Woo, Thorchain, PNG, Velo, Radium, Goldfinch for lending. People been screaming about DeFi for a while, right? Drift, all these coins. It's all on Coinbase. All on Coinbase, right? Mantra, real world assets, all these AI coins, Render, Ocean, Jasmine, Fetch, artificial super intelligence. Do you think that trade is over? Come on. No way. That trade hasn't even been started again. Everyone's talking about NVIDIA still. Oh, that's crazy. Gian is here. Welcome. It's on that VIP premium thing. That's me personally. He was on that last night. What's up, dude? All right, let's go to live TA. All right. So, look at this. Arkham up 17%. Most important thing about this is that, Lux Algo is FOMOing in on the upside on this candle, right? And then you got money flow. It's not happening here, but it is happening in other places where money flow is starting to go green, right? And one thing that's different probably about all of these other signals is that, every time Lux Algo tried to buy any of these coins, it just stopped and turned around and went down. Okay. If these rallies, if they just stick, right, they don't have to, if they don't fail, then it's the real deal. It's the real deal. Right. And the thing that's funny is, when you look at ETH on a daily chart, the buy signal was actually 3 days ago if you're looking at Lux Algo. In other words, a lot of this stuff is in green flag mode. I mean, look at Arrow. See what Arkham is doing where, it's jumping on the first move. Arrow, it jumped on the first move. It went down for 2 days or consolidated, which is typical. And then it just went up only, right? To the point where, it's going to go to $1 and then hang out. But money flow in Arrow is about to go green. And you're seeing this across the board, right? In other words, the stuff that everyone gave up on is the stuff that's rallying hard, right? Cat memes. Wow, it took them long enough to figure it out about the cat memes, huh? Guess the baby hippo meme had a rally first, Moodang, before this thing did. Yeah, this is going to make it. This is Popcat. This is going to make a new high. WIF is underperforming because of Solana. Look at DGen. Oh my God. DGen rallied to resistance. And you know what? If DGen goes through this, I mean, you could have massively higher prices in this. This was like one of the biggest give up trades I've ever seen. I mean, this was like give up and give up and give up. It was like 3 legs of people just packing it in on this. Now, I don't know if there's something fundamentally wrong with the project. That's not my game, but I'm telling you, if this thing still has fundamental value, of all the base meme coins, this is the one that could come back. This is the one that could come back. You know, again, PAL AI. This is a $1 coin, and then it became a 12-cent coin. And you're like, well, I can't buy it because it's up 10%, right? So, you know, bull markets do this to you. You know, and I'm not saying FOMO into this today, but you know, I can't buy it. 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 You know, you following what I'm saying? People just look at these coins and go, wow, they're up. I can't buy it. And 2 weeks ago, they were like, wow, it's down. I can't buy it. Seam. Okay. Again, you haven't even seen the buy signal. Like some of this stuff is still in bear mode. So you're like, I missed everything. Have you? Have you? Or is this whole thing just like waking up one coin at a time? Right? Look at this. DeFi, Maple on Coinbase. Right? The buy signal was like 10 days ago. I think it was Pendle that went off on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, this candle was when the market was down. This was when the market was down. You know, this thing is just smoking higher. Look at this. Near breaking out of a downward sloping wedge. I mean, equilibrium in near is like basically $6. Currently it's trading at $4, and everybody thinks they can't buy it. And I think you get the point, right? Somebody was asking about True F. Okay. Okay. So again, you have bag holders in this, and you haven't gotten the buy signal yet, and you might, but you have bag holders who are selling the first rally. And this is typical when you have a project that's been destroyed. Everybody sells the first rally. But if they sell the first rally and it doesn't go down, then that's your constructive signal, right? But there's no point in selling stuff until you wait to see how this alt rally plays out, right? Render, you know, they're just after it. They're just after it, right? You know, and again, all these things, they're all available on Coinbase, right? Which is why, you know, they're just ballistic after these coins because, oh, somebody was asking about TON. This could be the next comeback. Everybody was in love with this, and everybody hated this. Let me see if I can get a better picture here. Okay, so TON, these Lux Algo automatic trend lines, this thing could be getting ready, man. Equilibrium is $6.40. Everybody thought that this was never going to go down in their lifetime, and now no one wants to touch it. And really, all that ever happened with TON is that it formed a box, and square ranges are constructive. Okay, altcoins are telling you what's going to happen with the rest of the market. Bitcoin, Ethereum are eventually going to go up, if for no other reasons, for macro reasons. Rates are going down. There's a license to speculate. Everyone has left altcoins. Everybody went to equities. Everybody went the wrong way. Everyone's talking about the wrong catalysts. Everybody's worried about the wrong thing. And you know what? That's fine. Just let them. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? You got to get involved in crypto. You know, don't give up on positions until after you see whether or not they perform on this rally, which I suspect lasts till the end of the month. Then come October, I don't know, you just start evaluating again. In the meantime, don't underestimate what this thing can do on the upside. All right, folks, that's it for today. We will see you tomorrow.